The study is titled Superior Facial Expression, but Not Identity Recognition in Mirror Touch Synesthesia. It was published on February 2, 2011 in the Journal of Neuroscience. The present study examines facial expressions and identity recognition abilities in a rare group of participants, mirror touch synesthesias. The following experiment compared a group of mirror touch synesthetes to a non-synesthetic control group on 3 factors. The groups were compared on their abilities to recognize different facial expressions, such as anger, fear, and happiness. The groups were also compared on their ability to recognize and perceive different people's unique identities based on their faces. The experimenters predicted that the mirror touch synesthetes would show superior performance on the expression recognition tasks, but not on the facial identity tasks. There were 2 different groups of participants in the study. The group of mirror touch synesthetes was made up of 6 females and 2 males. The control group of the non-synesthetes was made up of 15 females and 5 males. During the procedure, the participants were asked to complete a series of 4 different tasks. The first task, called the film's facial expression task, investigated the participants' ability to recognize the emotional expressions of others. The participants were presented with an adjective describing an emotional state, such as the word confident. They were then presented with 3 different images of the same person, where each image displayed a different facial expression. Each of the 3 images was displayed to the participant for 500 milliseconds. Participants were then asked to indicate which one of the 3 images that they had seen best conveyed the adjective they had been given at the beginning of the trial. The second task, called the Cambridge Face Memory Test, tested the participants' abilities in facial recognition. The participants were asked to recognize 6 different unfamiliar male faces from 3 different vantage points. The participants' abilities to recognize the faces were assessed in 4 different tasks. The first task showed the same images the participants had just seen and asked them to answer which faces they had seen before. The second task showed the same faces the participants saw at the start of the trial from different perspectives and in different lighting conditions than previously shown. The third task added visual noise to the images the participants had been shown at the beginning of the trial. And the fourth task was made up of 30 different trials in which different distractors were present. Some of the distractors included adding more noise to the image, cropping or uncropping parts of the image, and showing the same target images with different emotional expressions. The third task, called the Cambridge Face Perception Test, assessed the participants' abilities to perceive differences between facial identities. The participants were shown 1 image of the target face as well as 6 other images. The 6 other images were morphed between the target image and another face in different degrees, so that the images each varied systematically in their similarities to the target face. Some of the 6 images had been morphed so that they inverted the faces at each end of the spectrum, while others had the faces in their correct upright positions. The participants were asked to order 6 morphed faces by their similarities to the target face. The participants had 1 minute to complete the task. The fourth task, called the Same Different Expression and Identity Matching Task, tested the participants' abilities in matching another person's facial identity or facial expression. The participants were shown a sample face for 250 milliseconds, then a fixation cross for 1000 milliseconds, then a target face for another 250 milliseconds. During the expression task portion, participants were asked to indicate whether or not the target image's expression matched or differed from the sample image's expression. During the identity matching task, the participants were asked to indicate whether or not the sample face and the target face were the same person or a different person. Each of the 4 tasks produced interesting and significant results. The results from the first task provided evidence for part of the hypothesis in that the mirror-touch synthites showed vastly superior abilities in recognizing the emotional expressions of others than the control group. These findings suggest to us the possibility that mirror-touch synthites show superior facial expression recognition due to increased activity in their sensory motor mechanisms. The results from the second task showed no difference between the mirror-touch synthites and the control group. Unlike facial expression recognition, based on this task, synthites and non-synthites don't differ in their ability to memorize facial identities. The results of the third study showed that participants were less accurate in identifying inverted faces as compared to upright faces. Unlike expression recognition, neither of the participant groups differed significantly in their ability to match facial identities. The results of the final task showed that the control group was more accurate in identity matching than expression matching. The synthetic group there was no different in the outcome of the expression matching task versus the identity matching task. There was, however, a statistically non-significant trend for the synthites to outperform the control group on the expression matching task, and for the controls to outperform the synthetic group on the identity matching task. We will now return to the PowerPoint presentation to discuss the conclusions the experimenters drew from the results and the possible problems with their conclusions.